This episode of the Red Bull Rant is brought to you by the fine patrons that support us through patreon.com/Red Bull Rant. You can support us for the low price of $1 a month, and you can get exclusive content, including a monthly wrap-up for the New York Red Bulls. We want to send a special shout-out to our patrons who support us at $5 a month. That is our producer-level reward. Thank you to Jeremiah Dempster, William Martin, Clayton John, and Christopher Admack. Now, on to the show.
The Red Bull Rant is a free-flowing conversation amongst three lifelong wackos that may contain adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome, my friends, to the show Never Ends. This is the Red Bull Rant podcast. I'm your host, Jason Ipico.
I'm Pat McDonald, and this is episode 337, Glitter.
I mean, that works. We were sort of glittery for the first half.
Yeah, but all that matters is it sticks with the theme.
Yep. So, Truman's obviously not here. Apparently he has more important stuff than to talk about a mediocre Red Bulls game, but I really can't blame him, honestly. Yeah. All right. So Red Bulls open up their season with a 3-2 home win over FC Cincinnati in a game that should never have been close.
Nope.
Let alone a game that two goals should never have been scored by the opposition. Before we get into our stuff, though, let's talk about our listener tweets. So first is from MB at CLOCRF. There is no relegation in MLS. The squad and manager are shit. Socrates at MetroFan96. Attendance woes, which is a GIF, just says, "Where the fuck is everybody?"
To be fair, I thought there was more people in this stadium than I expected. So, but
he followed that up later, saying, I blame every MLS team for our lower attendance this season. It's not just Red Bull front office's fault. If every other team would just buy a Zlatan/Beckham player, we'd be sold out every game. But all those other teams are cheap, so our attendance will grow. It's not us, it's them.
I love the irony. It's excellent stuff.
Let's see. Then this one was today. Casey Jones at Grateful Shred 23. Going into the season with almost no expectations, I was pleased about some aspects of the match, but not completely. There's still a long way to go, but hopefully things will come together.
All right.
So, Pat, you can go first. What did you dislike about this one?
I mean, it was just pretty much the same script we saw last year. This team would look impressive, get a lead, and then make it either awfully nerve-wracking and almost blow it or blow it. I mean, in this case, it was an almost blow it. And when you almost blow it to what is arguably one of the worst teams in the league, that is worrisome. That's a problem. I mean, it just seems like the same old problems are rearing their ugly head again. And it's certainly considering everything that was said in the offseason, that last season was unacceptable, to see the same old problems. It's worrisome.
Yeah, this is a good sign for, quote, striving for excellence. So it's funny, you and I were talking during the game, and the first half, my base thing was, where has this team been? Because this was the team that everybody expected over the last, 5-6 years.
Right.
And then as soon as that goal got scored at the beginning of the second half, my response is, well, not all of 2019 Red Bulls have disappeared.
Pretty much.
I'm just going to keep going on that. Listen, I understand not wanting to go 100% out, full press for a whole game, especially the first game of the year, right? You don't want to kill stamina early. But if you can be successful at, say, 75%, wouldn't it make more sense to do 90 minutes at 75 instead of half and half at 150? I mean, there's that FC Cincinnati team, if we played even at 75% of what we were playing the first half, there's no way they would have scored on us.
No.
But no, we had to drop back and just absorb pressure, and it's the same old shit. So much for new season.
The Armis prevent, baby. Yeah. That being said, there were a couple of terrible plays that led to each goal, but still. When you take the foot off the gas, I just kind of feel like you're asking for it.
All right. Likes for this one. I'll go first. That we actually scored 3 goals because that was a rarity last season.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of wish our forward Brian White actually scored some of those goals, but you know what? I'll take the production we got because goals going in are all that really matter in the end.
Yeah, I too would have liked if Brian White had scored goals, particularly the first one, because I would have won about $20. But other than that, I'll take it. I guess my like will have to be, how about David Jensen in that hat? Love me that hat. Yeah, I mean, we should sign nothing but Danish goalkeepers because pretty sure the last time I saw a hat was also on a Danish goalkeeper, I think in like the 2010 World Cup. So, more Danish goalkeepers and hats. That's what I'm going.
I think because I follow everything, I think I saw Jordan Pickford wear one this year.
There you go. Is that the Everton keeper?
Yes, he's the Everton keeper. And the English national keeper.
There you go.
All right. Afterthoughts. I'm going to talk about Ryan Mayer because this was his time to shine. That was the idea. Roll the sleeves. Ryan Mayer has been sitting in the wings for years. And it feels like a repeat of 2012 because he got hurt and then somebody else stepped in.
Yep. Yeah, it sucks. You feel bad for Ryan Mayer because, I mean, that 2012 season, he was a rookie, was kind of forced into duty and was excellent until he got hurt and then forced him to bring in Luis Robles, who was then just so good that it made no sense to switch back. I don't know. I mean, I hope we'll see what happens. I mean, I was happy with what Jensen did. But yeah, Ryan Mayer being a homegrown guy, essentially, you like to see him play, but we'll see what happens. Kind of another afterthoughts, kind of like almost like a serious like though at the same time was I really did like the play of Kyle Duncan and Florian Valot. Both had excellent games. Kyle Duncan got in-stadium player of the game. Although I think many others would say Valot was more deserving. Again, it's just, unfortunately we've seen this script with Valot before. He comes out hot each season and then he gets hurt. So, I mean, that's the big worry there. I mean, how long does the team have with Valot? Hopefully he can go a season. If not, I mean, Lee Sims is there on the bench. I mean, very interesting to see our designated player start the game on the bench.
Our half-season loan designated player.
Right. And then the other thing I just kind of wanted to harp on about, Red Bull going out and signing players. I'm going to double check this real quick if my app can be fast. And stellar radio here. Looking up stuff makes the best radio.
Where is it?
I'm looking up lineups real quick.
I don't know. I'm looking for.
Okay, yes, this is what I wanted to harp on. Mandela Egbo, not even in the 18.
I didn't even think about that. I completely forgot about him.
Yeah. Not even in the 18. And it's just kind of like, you're trying to say you're trying to do stuff, but I mean, if your guys the guys you bring in, if they can't even get on the bench, and it's not like he was brought in last week. He's been with the team long enough. It's frustrating. It's frustrating to see like the team saying, "Oh no, we're signing players," and like, if they can't make the 18, then they're not good enough. And to be fair, is anyone shocked that somebody from the second Bundesliga isn't good enough? So, yeah, just another frustrating thing about the players they bring in. And there's kind of more about that later.
To go along with the Ryan Mayer, Aaron Long too also got hurt before this game.
Mm-hmm.
So, you texted our little group a picture during the LA Inter-Miami match where apparently our physio from last year is now with Miami.
He is.
And they brought in during the offseason a new physio who's supposed to be like a very good top-level guy. And I know injuries happen, so I'm not saying that, but why are we starting off the first game of the year with arguably two of the most important players already hurt?
Yeah. I don't want to put that on the physio just yet.
No, it's not.
It's, but I like the other guy. He looked fun. He had a ponytail and he's a doctor. Go, come on, when you can pull that off, good for you. So, but just a few things about in-stadium afterthoughts. The new announcer is, he's okay. Nothing special. And then the hype woman, I'm not going to say she did a bad job per se. I mean, I didn't necessarily notice, but it was brought up. I forget where I read it, that she announced a 50-50 raffle winner, or somebody announced a 50-50 raffle winner during the run of play, and that led up to the second goal by Cincinnati. Pretty much that whole breakdown happened there when they made the announcement. So some are saying there was distraction there. But ultimately, what I will say is the hype woman, again, I'm not criticizing her specifically. Just the hype man would be the same. I'd have the same opinion. It's just like, what are we? Are we a minor league team? Do we really need a hype man or hype woman? Come on.
Well, we got Chris Armas on the bench. Take your pick.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I don't like it. I harped on this last week. I just feel like this team thinks the gimmicks are why people aren't in the stadium, and it's ridiculous.
Speaking of in stadium, do you love that new second deck bar they built on the north end of the stadium?
I don't give a shit.
No, the one that's still covered in tarps that nothing's been touched.
I don't know. I didn't even know. Oh, yeah. Oh, right. Yes,
the ones they tarped off last year that they're touting they were going to, during the offseason, build a brand new bar up on that second deck.
It's got a standing room only bar. That's what everybody wants.
And
that's why nobody's in the stadium. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, they're not demolishing it so they can fill it up anytime they have a national team in.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
And if for whatever reason there's an uptick in attendance, they can just start uncovering seats.
Yeah, exactly. Well, until they actually show an interest in winning, probably not going to be an uptick in attendance.
Yeah. See, I can buy Seattle tarping off sections because they don't generally sell out that stadium.
Yeah,
but
of course.
They are willing to open their stadium when they need to. Like for the big games, they will open those seats up.
Yeah.
But on a 25,000 seat stadium, we shouldn't have that. And so speaking of that, Nashville never existed before this year.
Yeah.
And they had 66,000 people show up for that game?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
I understand that New York is a much different sports town than Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
But if you haven't been able to fill that stadium with at least 20,000 consistently, then you have a bigger problem.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we were. Once upon a time, we were. In the Jesse Marsh
Not even that long ago.
We were filming 20,000 stadiums, but then just people got wise of like, hey, wow, our white winger position is kind of shit. And then they never did, and we had a designated player spot available, and they never did anything about it. And now, you could argue now, well, Pat, they just signed Josh Sims. Okay, great. But we still have a third designated player spot. You're not telling me we could do better than Brian White? I mean, Brian White had a decent season last year. All right, I get it. Or are you saying we can't do better than, I don't know. I mean, really, any of the players on the field. I mean, aside from maybe Kaku. It's just, come on.
I mean, Matthias Jorgensen's not to the point where he can start playing.
Yeah, I mean, New York sports fans aren't stupid. They can see a team that's not trying from a mile away.
And that's exactly what we have.
Mm-hmm. And we won the game, and here we are.
So, any other thoughts, or are we done with this one?
That's all my thoughts for this game.
Okay. Prediction contest, we all got 1 point, because we all called the win, but none of us got the score.
Bummer.
Yeah, it happens.
Mm-hmm.
The fan predictions, unfortunately, there was a kind of a screw-up with the form. 3 people did get their stuff in. When I sent it out originally, was not accepting responses, and I didn't catch it till like the next day. But I think we have a 3-way tie right now for first. Or no, I think it's like one person in first, but I can't remember who it was. But
yeah, cool.
Nobody got the score exactly right, so there's no like runaway at this point.
There you go.
The one for the RSL match is up. It will close at 1 p.m. on Saturday. So if you are interested in doing the fan predictions, check out our Facebook page, check out the Twitter. The links are there.
It's fun.
Yeah. See if you're better than us.
Yeah. I think last year somebody was before we stopped regularly updating it.
Yeah. Jen was beating us before we stopped doing that. That's how bad it was last year. We just couldn't get a handle on this team.
Yeah.
All right. So Red Bulls travel this week to take for the first of 3 road games. They're going to take on Real Salt Lake this Saturday, March 7th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. The game will be broadcast on MSG and ESPN+. RSL comes into the match with a record of 0-0-1. So 1 point off of a 0-0 draw at Orlando last week. Truman has given us his prediction of a 1-0 loss.
Oh, Truman's not going to like that you made that faux pas.
No, he's not, but oh well. Too late. So since we're all tied, I'll go first since I won last year. I'm also going to go with a loss. I think it might be worse. I'm going to go 2-1. We proved that we can at least score, so I don't think we'll be blanked, especially against a team that only held a scoreless draw against Orlando. But we are horribly bad at road trips, especially to like Colorado and Salt Lake, so I don't think we're going to do well.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to really get behind this team, but RSL is a bad team. So there's that. I mean, they couldn't put a goal up against even. I get it was on the road, but they couldn't put a goal against a lousy Orlando team. So I'm actually going to go with a 1-1 draw. I think it's just going to be 2 rather unimpressive sides against each other, and I see the Red Bulls coming away with the draw. And then we're all going to be silly and get hope before eventually it gets squashed. I don't know when, but it's going to get destroyed at some point. But I say 1-1 draw on the road in Rio Tinto, if that's even what the stadium's called anymore. I don't even know.
That's a good question.
Yeah, with all the naming rights, who the hell knows?
Yeah, it's still Rio Tinto.
It is still Rio Tinto. Okay.
Yep. All right. So the other team in action this week is New York Red Bulls 2. They start their USL season this week on Saturday, March 7th, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. They'll be home at Montclair State, taking on the Tampa Bay Rowdies. See how they do. I think they've made the playoffs like every year so far, except for one maybe that they've been in. It's like this would be 6 out of 7 if they made it. And it's interesting to see what players get brought up from that team and then don't do anything, because that seems to be the MO right now.
Mm-hmm.
No Sky Blue FC news as far as I know, so we'll skip that for now. So that brings us to the dumping ground.
I'm the trash man.
All right, so I got nothing, but I saw you had something in the agenda.
Yeah, it sounds like the New York Red Bulls are linked to a French left back named Jason Pendant. He's of League Two side Sochaux. This is, I guess, who they're eyeing to replace Kamar Lawrence. He is 22 years old, so a young guy. Again, it sounds to me like another half measure, because you're talking about the second division of the 5th, maybe 4th best league in Europe. It just whatever. I'm kind of almost like unless Segrist is an absolute dumpster fire after a couple games, I'd say otherwise just let him play, let him get his licks. because League Two, who cares? You know what? Here you go. You want your third designated player? Go fucking sign someone from the top division, like every other team in MLS is trying. So stop with the half measures already.
These aren't even half measures. These are like quarter measures.
Yeah. Well, watch. He'll get signed. He won't even make the 18 like Egbo.
Let's see. The big signing last year was Jorgensen, who's still in USL.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't a big signing this year.
I guess Josh Sims.
I don't call him a signing because he's not going to be here the whole year, and we don't own him.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Fair enough.
So I don't think there's really a big signing this year. And Josh Sims can't be a big signing if he's not going to start every game. Even if you wanted to call him that.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So is that it for Dumping Ground? I got nothing else.
Yeah. U.S. women just won this first leg of the She Believes Cup against England. I think it was 2-0. I kind of stopped paying attention as I did this. So.
All right. That brings us to Pat's betting corner.
All right, this week, here are my 3 bets. I'm taking FC Dallas at home, Atlanta United, even without Joseph Martinez, because they are home. They're playing FC Cincinnati, and FC Cincinnati is garbage. And the LA Galaxy at home against Vancouver Whitecaps. That is my 3-team parlay for the week. So go out and make that money.
All right. And Truman's not here, but we will be doing the terrible team of the week. If it plays. All right. Apparently the sound board crashed. So
that's terrible.
There you go. Yep, it's gone. All right. So I'm going to be doing the terrible team of the week. And my pick goes to DC United for 2 reasons. One, they lost to Colorado at home. Colorado, as Pat mentioned to me during the before we started recording, is a team kind of on the rise. They had a better second half of last season, but they gave up the game-winning goal in the 92nd minute, which is never a good thing. But more importantly, Audi Field is one of the stadiums being used by the new version of the Extreme Football League. And oh boy, did they look like second tenants in their own stadium.
Sure did.
And we talked about it in our little group chat. Apparently, the Red Bulls were courting Vince McMahon to host the New York Guardians, and Vince McMahon chose MetLife Stadium. And I think we all agree at this point that we're glad, because we look like the actual tenants of the stadium.
Yeah, from a Red Bull standpoint, it is fantastic. From the empty, cavernous MetLife Stadium, it's bad for the XFL. But yeah, considering how Audi Field looked last week, I'm all right with it. Plenty all right with it.
All right. So is there anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here?
That's it for me.
All right. So let's wrap this one up. You can visit us at patreon.com/Red Bull Rant. You can email us redbullrant@gmail.com. Oh, shit. That reminds me. We actually have an email, and I knew about it, and I forgot. So let me go grab that.
Do it.
Okay. So this is from Chris from Kingston, New York. Greetings, Rosy Bovine Ranters.
Oh.
Yeah. He's the creative one with the openings.
Yeah.
Well, look who's number 1 in the Eastern Conference standings, and and to all those who doubted Chris Armas' togetherness and 1% improvement, I say this: if only we could play Cincinnati every week. Although we'll probably never see number 1 in the standings again this season, there is some stuff to savor from this match. Kyle Duncan's man of the match performance to send a message to Armas and Egbo. Flo, quote, hey, he feels like a new signing, unquote, Veloz. Strong return to throw down a gauntlet to Armas and Sims. Patrick Segrist holding his own and proving he was worth a trade up for in the draft. I could go on, but here's the thing. Was the weakest performance from our new captain? Are we stuck with Davis's sluggish decision-making and obvious conservative passing choices for 90 minutes every game now that he wears the captain's armband? What's your take on Davis? Actually, that's a good point. Because he was so forgettable in this match.
Yeah.
He did not look like a captain.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I still kind of stand where we were last week. Is kind of, or 2 weeks ago when we did the season preview. Is just kind of who else do you put the armband on? So it's you can kind of. I mean, there was a few years ago when he was starting to get whispers about being around the national team. We can just kind of hope he regains that form, but I guess we shall see. I mean, I guess as long as he doesn't cause any egregious errors, then, we'll deal as long as everybody else is performing like they did the other night. Well, except for the poor turnovers and everything that led to the goals and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I wasn't thrilled with his performance. Conservative passes, yeah, not great. I mean, at least if you look at it from the perspective of they're not turning the ball over, there is that, but I will say this. In the first half, I felt like things were a little different than last year because it appeared to me that they actually tried different avenues of attack. Like, they tried long balls over the top. They tried going down the wings. They tried passing it up the center route one. They weren't sticking to one thing and then it not working, and they never do anything else. Mm-hmm. They at least were trying other things.
Mm-hmm.
So I will give credit for that. But overall, it felt to a degree like a grinded out performance out of a team that should never have grinded out performances unless they're playing teams in the top of the league.
Yeah.
And that's not good. So
exactly. Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, so let's finish wrapping this one up. Again, if you want to email us, redbullrant@gmail.com. If you want to call us, and the phone number is still active, 973-348-5329. Facebook.com/Red Bull Rant. On Twitter, @Red Bull Rant for the show. Dr. Stooge for myself. @PMAC, for Pat. @The Truman for Truman. Subscribe to our show via iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play Music, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, pretty much anywhere you can find a podcast.